This conference will now be recorded.
All right, good evening. I'd like to call to order the meeting of September 4th with roll call of the commission. Commissioner Selly is not present. Commissioner Way?
Here.
Commissioner Nehan? I don't know which Jim that is. Commissioner Nehan, are you online? I saw it line up, but I didn't see it. Jim, we couldn't hear you.
I'm here. Thank you. Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Abernathy?
Here.
And Commissioner Hardy?
Here.
All right, if we could all please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, peaceful, with liberty and justice for all, born and unborn.
All right, public comment on non-agenda items. Second call for public comment on non-agenda items. Last call for comment on non-agenda items. All right. On to interlocal agreement with Madison County Sheriff's Office.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes, Jim.
I'd like to make a motion to table this for the following reasons. Number one, it violates town code. The town code states that we need to have a police department. It's required. And this actually states that there shall not be a police department during the period of the agreement. It also does not have any final cost attached to it. There are multiple other reasons, but the final reason that I'm going to state is that I was not notified of any meetings, and I was not allowed to be present during the time that this was being drafted. And I believe that that may be the same case for you.
That is correct. So there's a motion to table. Is there a second? All right, without a second, it carries on. So if it is in violation of our town code, how does that play out? We have Ed Guza online this evening. Ed, so if our town code in chapter 13 says we shall have a police department and this agreement says that we may not, are they not in conflict?
Yeah, they definitely are in conflict, Mayor. The answer, though, lies in the fact that we're dealing with emergency situations here, and the town has expanded powers under emergency laws of Montana. I can find those by statute and provide those, but that's what we're dealing with here is an emergency situation. For example, we can grant ordinances in emergency type situations. We can override ordinances in emergency situations. That's not how this is exactly styled in front of the council today. So there is that outstanding issue, but we do have those kinds of powers if we need to override what are the current statutes, or that is laws of Ennis for that reason.
Mayor, a couple of meetings ago, it was pointed out that because the sheriff said that he intends to provide services and he does not intend to remove services, I don't see where this constitutes an emergency. We were told that it was an emergency a few meetings ago, and now all of a sudden today it's an emergency. I have to question that.
You know, that's a good question, but I believe that this does not preclude us from having EPD, an Ennis Police Department. And in the sheriff's own words here, while this agreement will preclude us from having an EPD, the agreement is structured so the sheriff essentially takes the place of the police chief. But the portion that applies to opting out should suffice in the event that a new police chief is found, and it will not prevent the restart of EPD or the hiring of a new police chief.
Where is that in this document?
That is from the sheriff and the county attorney.
So we weren't
Where,
privy to
where
that.
is it in the agreement?
That was an email to me recently on that.
That
Where
none of
is
us
it
were.
stated in the agreement?
It's not.
We have,
Yeah,
you
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 feel
need to
left
point
out
out
because I
what's
John.
stated in the agreement.
currently, we don't have an Ennis Police Department. There is a long runway to get one,
Correct.
and this covers us until the day that we decide we want one or we can produce one, which is a long ways down the road, in my opinion.
Opted out of this agreement, we need to actually fulfill the first term of the agreement.
We do till June.
We have a town code that states that we're required to have an EPD.
We are, but according to,
Also, according to the state, we are required to have policing authority in place.
Correct.
So state trumps town.
But an agreement can't trump the code. So the agreement, it's not that we can't do an agreement. We have to, if the sheriff has something in writing to John Way, that, but as this states, it is in conflict with the code. This is why multiple people in the room to review it and not at noon before the meeting is probably our best bet. Why I asked for the county attorney to draw something up for us to all review it before we brought it for a real discussion for so many ways, so many reasons. My biggest problem right now is $200,000. And the reason for that is because I've seen all the other contracts that have been proposed to Twin Bridges, Sheridan, and Virginia City. And those are 17 mills. You want to break that out by money? Okay, so Virginia City's mill is worth $726.66. So for 17 mills, that's $12,353 for the year. Sheridan's value, $1,277.51. That comes to $21,017.67. Twin Bridges value is $760.67, which comes to $12,931. Not, those were the contracts presented to them.
Mayor, I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
So that's what the Twitch, Virginia City produced.
that's
Those
what
are the
I was told it was incorrect.
those are the documents that were presented to those councils.
Is it incorrect?
Ed's seen two of those. Others.
Mayor, this was intended to be a committee of three. It became a committee of one by self-appointment, and I have an issue with it.
And before it was a committee of three and it became a committee of two by your self-appointment. So I don't, that's calling the kettle
No,
black.
that's not true, John. John, that's
That
not
is
true.
true.
The sheriff sent out those announcements. Don't try to put on me for something that the sheriff didn't adhere to. And
Right.
you had a telephone call with me, of which I have the minutes of, on a bill on the Thursday prior to that meeting, that you were going to be at that meeting. So you're being
I never
disingenuous.
got
You are
to that
being
meeting.
disingenuous.
I am not. And, ooh,
Oh, yeah.
ooh.
Yeah. Seriously, he's the only one who's been doing anything.
All right. So there are several things that are not meshing.
Mr. Guza has seen this, provided changes, and those changes were accepted.
Accepted by who and when?
Mr. Guza has seen this in the last couple days, provided changes, and those changes were made to the document, and you all have that Guza's changes document, which was signed off by the sheriff department.
First of all, you're talking about some unattached agreement to this letter, this memorandum that doesn't even exist as far as we know, other than you're telling us it exists.
Several things that I would have brought up had it actually been in committee.
All right,
Besides
let's
the
do
amount
this. Let's do
is,
this. I make a motion to approve this agreement as written.
Second.
Now, a motion and a second on the table.
okay,
Yeah, and so we were told a few weeks ago that this wasn't a power grab. We were told that this was not a money grab. We were told that this was not an attempt to defund the Ennis Police Department. And guess what? It's all three. And you did this on your own, John. And I will
Can we
make sure
discuss the
that this
facts
is
of
made
this
as public
agreement?
as humanly possible.
The agreement is for $200,000 a year over a multi-year contract.
it's not, it doesn't stay at 200,000.
It does in one of them.
Yeah.
No, it's not 200,000
And
plus
the second one,
$85.
no. In both agreements that I have, it says a renewal amount of shall increase by 5% of the previous term's compensation for each renewal term.
Yes, if you look in section 8, the town agrees to compensate MCSO for its services by paying to Madison County the sum of $200,000.
Effective
The
in
dates upon
term.
which this payment shall be due may be agreed upon by the parties in writing.
So it contradicts itself? Because in the same document, you have effective in term and shall
I don't know
increase.
which, apparently there's multiple documents in here.
Both of them have the same effective date and term, and both of them have
Well,
the
they can't both
same.
be the one that we need
Compensation.
to agree on. We need to figure out which one is the most recent one.
Most
The
recent was
Guza
under Ed
one is the
Guza.
most recent.
So that's the one that I
Is
have.
that the interlocal agreement or the ILO?
It says
Local
interlocal.
agreement.
Those incorporated our attorney's changes, which were provided to me late last night. And I chatted with the sheriff's department and we got those changes incorporated.
So the finished copy hasn't been before us in the 48 hours that's required?
No.
It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, I
Why
haven't
is,
seen it.
why is that?
FYI, everybody, I haven't seen a final version of this agreement either. I made some changes more as comments, but I haven't seen the final version.
You can vote on this, you can do whatever you want, but it's going to be appealed, just so that you know, because you have sections of it that are not even attached to it, and you're violating town code by voting on this.
Without saying an emergency. Yes, there will. Before the vote, there will be public comment. So
Both of the documents I'm looking in here have the $200,000 sum in it.
if you look at section 1, effective date and term, there has your increase. if it's automatically renewed.
Increases do not equate to the terms of the agreement or payment.
The
5%
original
increases over multiple years is not uncommon,
No?
but it states in section 8, 200,000 for the first year.
Correct.
So from then on, it's 5% increases over each year.
Okay, so if in theory you were to adopt this, you are good with, I think you take it by section, effective date and term. Good there. Termination.
60 days before renewal.
Yep. This is where it becomes muddy for me, because the town shall formally appoint the county sheriff as chief of police for the duration of this agreement. So I spoke with Ed a couple Mondays ago and I said, how does that incorporate into the fact that the other towns don't have code for their police chief? So that's a conversation I wanted to have ahead of time to say, how does this apply? Because it makes it difficult for Sheriff Hedges to be both. It does. And then, so does this not apply? And so and we are in violation of the code that elected officials and public hearings put together in 2011. So
For the county
it creates
before
that
he
problem,
is.
that section of it. I don't know how to fix it. Either the contract has to be fixed to be in alignment with the town code. It's a weird spot that nobody else is in.
But state code supersedes town code. And it says right here, to comply with Montana code 4101 and 4105 and the amended HB 333, which goes into effect, the town shall formally appoint as our acting police chief.
Right. And for other towns that don't have a code, they act as police chief as defined as a general sense. The town of Ennis has a code, so
Do
therefore
we have a police chief?
you are appointing one as a police chief.
Exactly.
So they have to adhere to this.
I think state
It's
code
weird.
supersedes.
I think what we're forgetting what Ed Guzzo said when we opened, and that is that we can pass an emergency ordinance since we do not have any applicants that have come forward. We haven't run it. I mean,
There was an
things are
interim position that was never approved. So you can't, I don't think I should run an interim position in a job description that wasn't approved by this council. It's a
I don't
change
think
of a
it
job
should be an
description.
interim position
It should
at
be
all.
It's a permanent position.
So then
It's
I can run the
vacated,
permit.
so like any other position, you put out an ad to get it filled.
Okay.
And we didn't stop that. What we stopped was an interim that was going to be a short timer.
Okay. So
for
I'll run
6
an ad for a
months
full
to
one.
cover for the program that you and Jim put before us, where the sheriff would back up this interim.
And now that the
So
section that says that you can't
that's what we
have
gave.
both is fine. As long as that section is.
They were gonna back up the interim. No, that's past. I'm just saying it was put before this board that the reason that the interim sheriff or the interim police chief was introduced was to comply with an agreement that Jim and Mayor Hahn put together. Mayor Haas put together with the sheriff to cover until we could find someone in full time. We passed on that agreement because it was too vague and we couldn't figure it out. And we decided we either need to do one of four things. We either need to do a permanent where we have the police chief and the police staff here. Number two was a combination of the sheriff and our police department where we had a police chief, but the sheriff's deputies worked with the police chief to get the work done. The other one was the sheriff's takes over completely. And then the third one was the fourth one was some other weird combination of it all. That's what we were looking into to work on the budget for, so that we could figure out which one of those options worked for the town. So now here we are, nearly a month after we have lost our police chief. We don't have an ad out to replace him. And we're concerned about whether or not we should enter into this contract. I agree with you, Mayor, that there are issues and we do have to get those settled. If we are in conflict with the town code, you're right. State code trumps town code every time.
Sorry,
However,
Mitch.
I
I
think we
can't
should
hear you.
no,
It
well,
cannot,
we can ask Ed, he's here.
it cannot be less strict.
It can't be more strict either.
Or how's that go? Cannot be more strict. All right.
You cannot negate state law.
Correct.
You cannot,
So the problem with this is, truly, yes, you can appoint, but the part where it says the town shall not contract with, appoint, or employ any other law enforcement unless mutually agreed upon, that's the part that's
unless mutually agreed upon with, between.
by parties.
It doesn't preclude us from hiring, looking for, and finding that person. We're
Appoint.
not going to find them before June and get them hired and in place.
Well, that's a very vague statement too, because I've seen that in contracts before where the contracted party does not want to be replaced by a rent-a-cop or whatever, a part-time. They're just trying to prevent us from usurping this contract by hiring out to a rent-a-cop if it existed. If we found, we have 60 days, we can give them notice. We found a police chief, we found police officers. We're giving you our 60 days notice that we appreciate your help, but from here on, we're good. That's the way I'm reading the contract.
That's
That 60 days allows us 60 days to let them know we're done with the contract and we've hired our people and we're going to move forward. I think it's fair. And I want to, though, clarify the point that you made. Are we going against town code?
the way I look at that.
Mr. Guzzo, if you're still with us, are we going
I
against
am.
town?
I don't have the town code in front of me. That puts me at somewhat of a disadvantage, but I would imagine that there's nothing in the town code that says you cannot contract with the sheriff's department because, for one thing, I'm sorry?
I didn't find anything in there, at least in anything in the in the police department section,
Right. So
chapter 13.
without something that prohibits us from having a contract with the sheriff department that is complying with the town's ordinances, I don't see that as necessarily being a hurdle that we have here today. I believe that entering into a contract with the sheriff department fulfills obviously the intent of the town's ordinances, but also fulfills the requirements of the Montana code as well, which is obviously important and required.
So do you just waive the sections of this? Like after appointment, you're supposed to be on probation for a year? It seems.
Well,
It
we're
Yeah,
says
no,
right.
I agree. I agree. I see the conflicts between
And
the
then
Montana code, the ordinances, and this agreement, because yes, there are requirements under the Montana code, as the mayor just mentioned. For example, a 1 year probationary period right there under the Montana code. So there's a lot of kind of glossing over with this agreement by the appointment of the sheriff as the chief of police for the town. As I've mentioned, one of the more difficult problems that we're running into is if you're going to be the chief of police for the town, that carries with it a high fiduciary duty to the town, both as memorialized in statutes and found in our ordinances. And if nothing else, it requires adherence to our ordinances and requirements to prosecute those ordinances as passed by the council. So there's a lot of, in my opinion, a lot of conflict between this agreement and Montana code when you insert the sheriff as the chief of police of the town. And I'll say this too, when I read the HB 333, which is going to be our law here, I guess it's October 1st, I believe. I'd have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure it's October 1st. This becomes our law. You know, it doesn't say that the sheriff, unlike the agreement, the HB 333 doesn't say that the sheriff must be appointed as the chief of police. It just says a third class city or town of the state may enter into a contract or interlocal agreement in whole or in part with the state recognized local law enforcement within the third class cities, town, or county to satisfy the requirements in subsection 1. Subsection 1 says, unless otherwise provided in subsection 2 that I just read, there must be in every city or town of the state a police department that must be organized, managed, and controlled as provided in this part. So it's basically saying not that the sheriff has to become our chief of police. It simply says that to bypass all the requirements of having a police department, you can waive all that away by entering into this interlocal agreement. So I've never quite understood, looking at these agreements now that I have for weeks and weeks, months and months, that the sheriff is requiring, or at least interpreting, 732-4101 HB 333 as requiring it to be the chief of police for the town, in this case, Ennis. I don't see that requirement under law, and and that's what's causing some of the problems that we're talking about here today. But the agreement, at least the version I have in subsection 3, says to comply with Montana Code annotated 732-4105, and there's a mistake in mine, but section 732-4101. The town shall formally appoint the Madison County Sheriff as chief of police for the duration of this agreement. Again, I know of nothing in the MCA that requires the sheriff to be the chief of police of the town. Instead, it's kind of the opposite. It sweeps all that away and says, we have this interlocal agreement, so we don't need the chief of police. We don't need any of these other things because we have this interlocal agreement. Not sure if any of that muddies the water even more. I'm sorry, Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, rather than trying to run Thursday, we have a meeting next Thursday. And that there's the opportunity to clean up some of these things that we're talking about.
Jim?
Breaking up some quite badly. I can't understand you.
Yeah, Jim, you're coming in digitized. I don't know
Yeah.
what the break is.
And that it meets and complies with our town code and with Montana state code as well.
We missed all of that. I'm sorry, Jim.
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me right now?
Yes.
All I'm suggesting is that Ed can take this. We have a meeting next Thursday. Ed can take this and he can clean it up. He can make sure that it complies with our code, state code. He can make sure that it's something that is in the best interest of the town of Ennis and the residents of Ennis, and then we can vote on it next Thursday. All I'm looking to do is to table this until next Thursday.
Well,
I think
we're
if
not
I may,
asking for edits.
yeah, if I can jump in real quick, I think part of the problem is the disconnect between, what sounds like some of the commissioners, some of the commissioners involved in this on this particular project. And then I'm not speaking directly with the Madison County Sheriff's Department or their county attorney on this particular project. For example, there's a version out there that went to them with my comments and changes. Frankly, I didn't exactly anticipate that happening. That's fine, I suppose. But more important, and to my point, is I think that's the normal route. If we're trying to negotiate this contract, I should be on the front end dealing directly with the sheriff's department and their legal counsel. Otherwise, I think we're going to have this disconnect that we're all dealing with right now. It's very difficult to reconcile all these different changes when some of us are involved, some of us aren't, some should be, some aren't. So if we are going to table this for a few days, I would very much like to be involved directly and should be just that should just be the case. I mean, it shouldn't be any one of you dealing directly with the sheriff's department. I'm not sure why that's the case. But I think it's causing this disconnect. I think it's causing some issues with a lot of these issues that we're talking about.
I agree.
I completely agree, and I yield that you should be the person, Ed, who completes the rest of this and cleans it up and brings it into compliance so that we do not have any issues in the future.
I believe his statement, Mr. Nehan, was that he needs to work directly with the county lawyers to get this done.
Yeah, my
Not
connection
that he
with
would individually
my
clean it up, but that he would work with the county
We've
lawyers
had
to
a year
get
and a
this
half
done.
of working with the county lawyers. I fell apart 3 times. I went and had coffee and put this together in 10 minutes.
Who did it involve it?
There's a
and
motion in a
Ed,
second.
Ed, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Jim. I couldn't hear what the other comments, if they were directed at me or not.
Right.
No.
The other thing that I'm only recommending is that it says of a 12-hour shift that a sheriff will or a deputy will provide 50% of their time to the town of Ennis, and that there would be someone possibly located within the county that can respond to emergencies. But I have an issue with just 50% coverage out of a 12-hour period.
It's actually a reduction by 2 hours. Just, it's not a whole, it's the reality of it.
365, or NSPD.
And an increase in cost.
Yeah.
I'm just doing numbers. It's just 86 hours versus 84 approximate. Jeez. All right. So I guess there's a motion and a second on the table. Commission, do you have any other comments? Because I feel like there's a whole lot more in this. I don't feel comfortable without a little bit more definition because our jurisdiction kind of has it lined out as to our police chief and their area, which is within 5 miles thereof. So I would say surrounding area be changed to 5 miles, just because that's where our thing is. But I don't know that that's feasible for the sheriff's office to have somebody within 5 miles based on what they have available. It depends on the day. So it's hard, and I don't see where, and I don't blame them, but we are actually doing a net reduction in law enforcement in our area. Because we don't have a contract that if we got rid of all of this and said, yes, we're going to pay you enough that you guys get to hire 2 more guys just to be devoted to Ennis, then that would not be a net reduction. But if we don't refill EPD, then we are by extension reducing the overall law enforcement for our area.
I don't
take
agree with
offense
that.
to that statement because never has it once been said in here not to hire another police chief.
Okay.
We did not say
I
that.
said if.
Yes.
And
We did not say that ever.
I think this agreement fills the void between now going forward. I believe that there's a new commission coming in here and a new mayor that may have a different plan on the future of all of this. And the current commission and the current mayor are not going to fill the NSPD before that term is up.
I don't.
This automatically bridges that gap, leaves a runway of from now until next June to make those decisions, figure out what's best for policing in Ennis, whether that's an NSPD, keeping with the sheriff, or a combination of all those. We have never had that conversation. This fills the gap between now and then, and with a commission coming in, I think they may have some different plans on the direction that wants to go. I've heard all sorts of things about putting it to the voters, asking the voters if they want an APD. That can't happen till the June election, correct? I believe so. It can't
think
get
so.
on the November ballot. So that's the
You
June
can,
election.
you can have a
So
special election.
all of these, hold on, all of these have this long runway. This fills our gap between now and then. It develops a good working relationship with the sheriff department, something we have not had. And I believe it at least maintains the level of service that we've had. You can say there's 2 hours difference, but there were times when John Moore was on vacation for 2 weeks. Also, the sheriff has said that he has 4 more deputies in the pipeline between having him hired, background checks, and the academy. So by the time this is done, we're going to have 21 deputies at the sheriff's department. I think this is a no-brainer. I think we should pass it and move on to important things like fixing the damn water system.
I'm going to make another motion to table this until next Thursday
We have,
and
Motion.
provide the opportunity for Ed, the town attorney, to
we have
finish
a
cleaning
motion
up.
and a second without any amendments.
Yeah.
So before we finish, enough from the back row, please. There are some other things as we went through this that I would like to point out. Not major, but again, the town has office and storage. We went halfway through this and said, yep, we should adopt this.
That's what Dylan needs.
Without any of the other areas being gone through. Okay? So additional services, 85. There's no surprises there. Good with all of that. That they've proven that that's the amount that it takes for a deputy to do additional things for us. Thankfully, with the special events, we can hopefully recoup some of those costs because that's when we need those additional services. So that's good. Prosecution's good. The amount, okay, if it's not 17 mils to the other towns, I guess we just had those for no reason at the other towns councils. And then I didn't see anything with the forwarding of state auditors. Personnel and supervision is absolute. I had no problems with that. Legal entity and property. First paragraph's fine. I don't understand why the sheriff would need space here when there's a satellite office at the search and rescue building.
He was told that that was offered on the other contracts he was dealing with. I don't think that's a game changer one way or the other.
It just,
He said he wouldn't want to go in there until it was checked out.
that's one but in and out door codes. Why do we need it? Why do we need it if we have a satellite station here already? So, and then liaison was good. Liability was good. It changed from some of the original things that I'd seen. The rest of it, fine.
Mayor, if I may jump in, the one thing I didn't hear you hit on, and that was which town ordinances the sheriff is actually going to enforce.
So that
That's something
changed.
that did change. Sorry again, I don't have the
According to your
final document.
recommendation, Mr. Guzza.
Because if not, it was
Perfect.
incumbent.
It's just I haven't seen it. That's the problem, I guess. But I'll take your word on it if there's one out there and it further expands upon that.
So I still see that this is currently in conflict. So there's that. So by voting on it, you're kind of, by approving it as a contract in violation of oaths to uphold this code, I can see where it's unique. And I don't think that it should be rushed. It can be fixed to protect both the sheriff and not have him as police chief, or figure out a way to temporarily, I don't know, emergency ordinance. But right now, it's absolutely in violation of our town code.
But it's in agreement with the state code.
So you pick and choose.
It sort of is. I don't love the appointment as Ennis's police chief. That doesn't make sense. I don't see why it's necessary.
It seems
Is that the big
horrible
hang up?
that Duncan would have to.
Okay, so I amend my motion. I amend my motion to include, we approve this as written, except for on section 3, to comply, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, section 3, shall formally appoint Madison County Sheriff as police chief. And we strike that one line, and if we have the sheriff okay it. But I think we should approve it with that one line struck. Would that satisfy?
The shall not contract or appoint employee with any unless mutually agreed upon by both parties. I get it. I get what, to protect themselves, but it's at this point says we can't do what we need to do.
No,
I
don't
don't
agree
agree
with
with
that.
that.
I don't agree with that.
Does Ed, when it says you shall not contract with, appoint, or employ any other law enforcement officers unless mutually agreed upon.
Mutually agreed upon.
Mutually agreed upon, meaning that you can't just go out and hire me to be police chief just to cover your police chief requirement, and you don't really have a police in place. That's, I think, and they're shaking their heads, the sheriffs are shaking their heads over there. That is what that means.
You have to be post certified to be police chief by definition in Montana code, correct?
I don't think the sheriff is gonna.
I
put us
believe,
Correct,
hiring
Ed?
a qualified
That's correct.
police chief.
Right.
I
That's
believe
what I'm
we
saying.
Found a police chief that was qualified, signed off on by the commission, had his background check done, and we were ready to hire them. We could sit down with the sheriff's department and say, this is where we're at.
Okay.
And they would,
I think that's all it's,
So
they're just trying to protect the town.
So in the interviews, if there are any, I've always had Charles Feldman sit in to help me because he's been through that process multiple times. Maybe as part of that is I would ask somebody from the sheriff's office, either the sheriff or you, to be that second person for interviews.
that would be,
That would
be a wise decision.
I think that would be a nice courtesy. I don't think it's required though by this contract. All this contract says is if you decide to hire a chief of police for Ennis, that they will review they want to sit down with you and make sure that it is something that works for the town and works for the county. And they're not going to stop us from hiring them.
So the department heads have to go through you.
Yeah.
You know that, right? Like department head
I do,
is
but
by
I'm not
appointment.
I'm not involved. We're not involved in the hiring process. So you will bring a candidate. I don't think any of that part changes. The only thing that changes is that we get a blessing.
Okay.
Am I getting this wrong? I don't think the sheriff's department wants to be involved in hiring our police chief. I think they just want They just want to be included so they know that it's coming. They
Yeah.
know that 60-day notice is coming.
I would agree. And to tell you the truth, I mean, I shouldn't hire a police chief. I hire fishing guides for a living. I don't know how to hire a police chief.
Well, that's
Corey
why
hires
we have-
drywall people for a living.
That's why
He
we have the
shouldn't
code,
hire
yeah.
a police chief.
Yeah.
Maybe we should allow, have people on that interview committee that hire police people for a living.
That's why I
Yeah,
had
exactly.
Mr. Feldman there, because he'd been through hundreds of officer
So
interviews.
I don't agree that that's needs to be stricken.
Well, if I may jump in on that, I mean, it says what it says. We're reading a lot into a sentence, but it does say that you need the Madison County Sheriff Department agree before we can employ anyone to take over law enforcement services for the town. The 60 days certainly takes away that authority or power that they have under this agreement, but taking it at face value under the terms of this agreement, they have to agree before the town can hire anyone to take over law enforcement services. It's what it says in black and white. And that has to violate our ordinances without even looking at them. So my suggestion is we strike that sentence if that's what we're doing here today.
Then how do we, like we were saying, how do we not hire me as the police chief?
Because you're not post certified.
Well,
You don't meet the
or-
requirements. You do not meet the requirements under Montana code to be
How do we
police
not
chief.
hire John Moore back as the police chief then?
It would have to be by commission approval. Because that has been vacated, so I would have to appoint only by commission approval.
I think that that sentence was probably put in there in no small part because of the conflict that the town has had with the sheriff's department in the past. And maybe this allows them to play some role in who's going to take over that position potentially. But again, that this is up to the town and what the town decides to do. In my opinion, I don't think the sheriff's department should be involved at any level with that decision-making process. I mean, voluntarily, obviously, we'd love to work with them. That's not meant to be, any type of criticism against them at all, in fact, but to have it as a requirement in the agreement's an entirely different thing.
Move the motion.
I have to allow for public comment before vote. Public comment. 3 minutes.
So for 3 years, we've said and tried to get something done. And you, Mayor Haas, decided you wanted to sit on your hands with John Moore and not allow any forward progress with this. You decided when Ed would find out about everything and when he wouldn't find out about everything. Then you and Nehan stonewalled everything. So why now, since John Way has decided to do something and come forth with something, now all of a sudden it's all being done wrong? What have you guys been doing to get it right?
My comment was more relevant at the beginning of the conversation, but I'm still going to say it. I believe there is nothing that has been stated at any point about abolishing the Ennis Police Department. And at the beginning, that seemed to be an issue of the conflict with the contract. Nobody's getting rid of the department. The department simply has 0 employees. Nobody's abolishing it or getting rid of the department. So I think that should be made clear. The department exists with 0 employees.
Good evening, Roberts. First off, I would like to thank all of the commissioners and the sheriff's department and Mr. Guza and Mayor Haas for getting together on this interlocal agreement and having the discussion. Even though it may seem slightly disorganized, it's a good discussion to be having. I guess my comments are along similar in echoing that I think it was asked that Mr. Gruza be brought in on these discussions way back when, and he was since kind of put into the dark and not allowed to see things until until recently. That being said, how you could potentially move forward is to maybe make a motion that you want to contract with the Madison County Sheriff's Office and allow for a budget, just like you allowed for Eric to purchase a jetter, is put aside the amount of money and then assign Mr. Guza and the county attorney to work out the few discrepancies here. I would like to further say that it seems to be there are several areas that over the years, specifically in the audit, where town code or Montana code has been violated continuously for multiple years without being addressed. And so in this type of situation where we have no employees of the Ennis Police Department and there is a solution right in front of us, that maybe we take steps this evening to put a solution in motion. And that also, town code is there and it also is able to be amended. So that's what public hearings and ordinances are for. So, yes, you might be in conflict for a short time, but that also can be remedied. So, thank you very much.
Oh, sorry. More.
Nikki Hankins, when I sat up here as a previous commissioner, you blocked the conversation back then. You pushed it so far that I was being threatened, personally liable for just bringing up the conversation. You need to put this personal problem aside and get this resolved. It is not that hard. It needs to be resolved.
A question. Any other comment? Okay. Did you speak with Commissioner Todd?
No, I spoke with the sheriff's department, who spoke with those commissioners.
Okay.
General Patton once said, a good plan executed today always beats a perfect plan executed next week.
I don't disagree that we need an agreement. I disagree with this agreement for so many reasons. Again, I guess until I could have the answers as to the money, that does weigh on me because I have been presented by other mayors with an agreement for 17 mills that was presented to them by the sheriff's office. So,
Are they in a different position within the county. I mean, we have a town code that calls for a police department. Those towns, as I understand it, do not have one.
They do not.
They don't have
So,
much for ordinances to enforce either,
yes.
or parades, or 4th of July, or all the other things that Ennis brings to the table.
I think
17,
it is a large
7
discrepancy, but we are asking for intermittent coverage when they have not been previously contracted to do this type of coverage. We're asking for intermittent coverage until we can get our act together and get a police department back. So it's just like, going to the emergency room versus walking into an urgent care. If you walk into urgent care, they're going to charge you $40. You walk into an emergency room, it's automatically $500 on your insurance. That's the difference. But
And-
that is a large discrepancy, and I would like to have a discussion about why it has to be so large.
So what Shelby County is doing, so I spoke with Mark Grove, Chief Deputy there. They're moving forward on stuff. They're going to keep tabs on what's happening in each of 3 towns within the county that require services. And then ultimately at the end of each year, they will have a renegotiation of if Ennis is the problem child, we need to be paying a lot more for police services because we require it. So whoever uses the most pays the most. But you have to, I guess, ultimately start collecting data. If it happens in the county, it just falls upon the general taxpayer. If it happens within each one of the municipalities, then
It falls on them.
that's data collection happening. So it needs to start happening here soon.
I have
So,
a question in regards to the town ordinances. The first draft that came before, they were not going to cover any town ordinances.
And that was one of Mr. Guz's, they were going to cover by agreement, and that was
Public
one of Mr.
safety.
Guz's
And-
suggested edits. And me and the sheriff and Greg talked, and we got that.
We got that ironed out?
Yep.
So they will cover
They will.
ordinance, okay.
But it says with a nexus to public safety.
Absolutely.
So that's not going to cover all our ordinances.
It will cover all of our ordinances, but they're not going to they're not going to put somebody in jail for not shoveling their sidewalk.
Right. But they will talk to them about it, meeting the
If it
ordinance.
becomes a problem,
Yeah.
yes. And for years, we sat here and asked our old police chief if he enforced town ordinances, and he emphatically said no. On multiple occasions, I
I've
do
been
not
told
enforce
those.
town ordinances.
So,
There
Mayor,
were
I do have a
several
question, with you, because the 200,000 wasn't a problem with the agreement that you and Jim Nehon brought to the town council.
It's a number that has bothered me from the beginning. It has. And I just want it to be fair. And if we are 10% of the population and we're 13% of the calls, then that's not entirely an even match in my world. That means that we're 3% off of what everybody else is. But at the same time, we have 1,000 people in population. What's Sheridan got? Like 700, probably?
Still in the same ballpark.
Still in the same ballpark. And that's a large difference between 20,000 and 200,000. Are we that much more of the call volume?
We were okay with that number when we had an NSPD with 2 officers and paying $140,000 for dispatch alone. We were okay with that with the last plan. Now we eliminate, NSPD is non-functioning, so there's $250,000 in their budget from last year. That is probably going to be zero this year because we do not have an NSPD. And so for the difference between 140,000 and 200,000, we get full coverage. We get a full contract with the sheriff's department for $60,000 than what they were just going to charge us for dispatch.
So.
And
this
that number was
200
higher. I sat with the sheriff and
So
the
we're not
undersheriff
gonna
and
get it.
negotiated that down.
We're not gonna get a bill for dispatch
No,
during this agreement.
No.
You can't.
You don't get full coverage, you get 50% coverage
which is what we had.
with a police department.
So as this, you didn't make a full amendment. Are you there? 'Cause
My motion is we approve it as written, except for section 3, where we change shall to may.
Needs to be an amendment.
Shall appoint to may appoint.
Needs to be an amendment in the form of an amendment.
what was that, Jim?
That needs to be in the form of an amendment.
Yeah,
He'd already made the amendment. He's just correcting the wording.
yeah. I already made that amendment before. And I believe we have a second to it.
Are you still gonna have me on in communication with? Who's that? Sorry.
Well, not if you execute the contract by vote, if you're changing one word in this entire document.
Why couldn't they authorize another document that Ed Booza has drawn up after his communication? To replace this if anybody's not happy with it?
60 days notice? That's what I get from it. If you approve this with just the one word of may, then you would give 60 days notice to change anything.
That seems crazy. I feel like you can amend it or approve it as amended tonight, and Mr. Guzza can still be in communications with the county attorney and get something to their liking, and that will supersede this. Bring it back for another vote. If the county attorney and the town attorney are working together, there's no reason it may not even have to be voted on again. It could just be approved.
That's what we were originally waiting for, was the county attorney to provide a document for Ed.
For 3 years, it took that long.
This is the document they provided.
3 years.
Oh, so this is from the county attorney?
It is.
Okay.
This was written by the county attorney. I mean, I'm not smart enough to draft this.
All right.
Can we also get some clarification on the shall not contract with, appoint, or employ any other law enforcement officers unless mutually agreed upon by the parties? I do agree with Ed that that's a little bit of an overstep for the sheriff to ask that when our code requires that we have a police department. I also agree with Ed that it would be a courtesy to have you agree or have you look at who we're looking at. We could do that, no problem. But I don't think that the sheriff should have the ability to negate any potential hiring that we do in our own police department.
The sheriff will be at every meeting from here on out, or a representative from the sheriff's department.
No, it's just this. If we can clarify this one paragraph in section 3, instead of the town shall not contract with, appoint, or employ any other law enforcement officers.
Could you
Outside of, you can add, outside of their,
could you say third party?
any.
Could you say
third party.
law enforcement services?
There
So
we
then
go.
that way it is clarified that Ennis can employ their own.
Right. It's
But
implied.
it's not the rent-a-cop situation that you were
Right.
in.
Yeah. I do agree that the wording in there should be changed. We
I-
cannot
Yeah.
employ any other third-party law enforcement officers unless agreed upon by the parties. But we can employ our own police department without their consent. Because this is implying that we have to have their consent to hire our own police department.
We have an incomplete document. We have 7 days to be able to bring it to next Thursday's meeting and for Ed to have the opportunity to clean up all of these discrepancies. I really don't
According
understand.
to my count, there's 2
There's
discrepancies.
2 discrepancies, and we cleaned up one of them.
Yeah.
So if
And the
we had-
satellite, again, are you leaving it in there? Do you want the storage space?
That's not a
Are you
discrepancy
gonna
at this
scrap
point.
the storage space? We're gonna remove the office?
No.
Well, we're gonna pay the utilities anyway.
Yeah. Why is
It's
that an
just
issue?
the access point now. I have to add everybody as their code. That's fine. And Denny,
Well, the sheriff
Josh
is
already
saying no,
has-
he does not need our storage space.
I would imagine,
I just would have to make sure that I get the list from Josh on everything for the terminal access, which should just transfer over, correct? Okay.
so
That's
if
just
we
one of those-
strike that, you would be okay. All right, let's strike that.
Okay. So I think we need to do an all-encompassing amendment to this document.
Can somebody ask Ed what he thinks about, that he obviously feels like he needs to concur with the county attorney. So where does that go from here? Can he still have that communication?
We can't hear what's being said. I apologize.
So the question is, Ed, do you feel comfortable if we make these changes and adopt and then have it reviewed with the county attorney if it can still be changed after both attorneys basically review it?
I think the proper procedure would be for us to vote on it tonight the way we've discussed, and it would go to Ed to clean it up, and then he would discuss with the county attorney if they agree.
We would vote to approve with the
changes.
with the changes that we suggested.
Yes. And then it would go to Ed to clean up the document. Then he would go directly to the county lawyer to ensure their agreement with the changes.
I like that.
Yeah,
I
that
think
would
that's the
work.
procedure.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Because the council has to approve any contracts that we're entering into. So the contract is being approved subject to the changes that have been discussed in this amended motion. And I'd be happy to go to my counterpart with the county and talk to him about what those changes consist of. And then ultimately, it's up to the county commissioners to decide whether they agree. It's not even up to the sheriff per se. Obviously, they're likely going to do what he's asking of them, but just keep that in mind as well. But yes, the commission today can agree to this contract, subject to the changes that we have discussed today. If that passes, I'm happy to bring those changes to the county representative to discuss them.
There needs to be a clean list of what those changes are.
Agreed.
Someone needs to write them down right now, and we need to know what they are if we're voting on something.
May I summarize the changes as I understand in my notes on this? All right. So in section 3, under police requirement compliance, the town shall is changed to may. In the second paragraph, the town shall not contract with third party instead of, and striking, with appointed employee or any other law enforcement. Correct?
Correct.
Final is to remove in section 8, this office and storage area.
That one will be
Yep.
completely.
However, it becomes more of a like a functional item. If they need access for bathroom or whatever, we can get code set up for use of what they need. I just have to go through logistics and need Josh to go through that. I'm the only one that's been through the CGN stupid training. It's not stupid, but training, and need to make sure that we're still in compliance from that section and its access. But Josh has been helping me with that, so that's where it's
yeah,
at.
I mean, I believe the sheriff said they don't need it, so.
They don't need it, but if they need something, we can figure it out. It's a logistic, not a.
If they need it down the road, then we'll
Okay.
talk about it.
Those were all the changes.
Yes.
You are striking 8.
Other than the first part of it, 'cause I,
No, the
Not the
second
first
paragraph.
section of 8.
yeah,
Second paragraph of 8.
Second paragraph.
yeah, we leave the no separate legal, the first
Yeah.
paragraph.
Okay.
All right, so I have a motion and a second on the table. I will amend my motion to say, we should approve this document with the agreed upon changes that we just talked about right now.
I second.
Okay. Any public comment before I let them, before we go to vote? All right. Sully's not here.
Aye.
Nehan,
No.
Abernathy,
Aye.
Hardy.
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. Ed will send you the latest version. Have you look through it? I'll provide minutes, unofficial minutes, but I think you got the gist of it.
He has the
I do.
latest. Wrote it.
Well, he did the changes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll send him this,
With
the Guza changes with the,
The amended.
with, yep.
Can I then just leave it for Ed to go to? Thank you. I don't want to get it mixed up again by having too many cooks in the kitchen.
Right.
All right.
So just to be clear, Mayor, I'm going to work independently with the county attorney. Obviously, the county attorney can talk to the sheriff, and I'll be talking probably through you unless other people are involved or you want to involve them. But I agree. I want to keep this limited. We have a fairly small scope of issues that we want to deal with that shouldn't take very long. So that's my thoughts, is to work independently with the county attorney and then circle back to everyone with what I learned.
With the final.
Yeah, with the final. Yep.
Exactly.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. I'll be in touch with you. I think you got
Thank
we have it summarized in minutes.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna
Thank
sign
you, Ed.
off.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
Thank
Ed.
you, everyone. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, Ed.
Unscheduled for next Thursday.
I don't have anything except this.
Okay. Moving on to adjourn so we can go to budget.
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Is one of you
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
With
Okay.
a 10-minute break in between.
Okay.
Please.
Bio breaks are great.
Bio break. Yeah. Yeah. Not there yet. Oh, wait, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's why I stepped down off the.
Yeah, that call up there. I mean, I missed part of the last meeting back where I was. And I kept on. You still want me? Not crash reports, but requests. I know it was.
Right, basically just we talked for a little while about things.
I didn't want to face it.
Maybe
it's faster.
Monetary, one of the larger monetary expenses.
Oh, but then I'll have to train somebody. Well, I disagree with John. That just because we don't have. I don't have someone. They look. Okay, sorry, I only charge $5 because it takes 5 minutes. We are Saturday.
Sure, and you have to,
Left myself notes.
community affairs bill, for example, is 226 hours is required. What the community deems is necessary. Versus. How does that work? And then we're gonna ask you how you vote.
And then, yes. So this is all of the funds. So I get totals.
Yep, and then
Because the total was really.
good to go, then, right?
So, but if you drill down in here and you can just go to one, you know, 1,000. And it changes. This is what your budget is. So I would almost say, it's easier for me to have it side by side as this instead of last year. Because
Here's when you're writing on a Tuesday.
you're looking at what was Thursday.
So not this week.
Animal.
Sure.
Right, and that's. Sure. But down here, like for some property taxes, all the stuff that you share, insurance,
You guys
all that
coming
stuff
over?
that you share. You don't see one number, you see a number in this one, you see a number in this one, and this one. And for me, I can put them all together. Then try to break it out. So that. Oh, you guys are gonna let you know the stuff over here. Sorry.
Right, and that's,
And I did the same thing for the actuals, the sheet violation. I did the actuals, so this is what we actually spent in each year, 24. So that we can compare apples and apples. So I can see by each fund what we spent, what we actually did. Or I can see it all at once, what we actually did. So that makes it very easier. It's very hard to read. So I can hear that from the. Yeah, so, like I said, I told her, I did it in columnar form. And this is a pivot table, so you can change the parameters. I can see one fund at a time, what we were budgeting, and what we did last year. And I can switch back and forth. So, it just, because I sat through budgeting last year. I was just like,
Question your life decisions.
how can we think, how many funds do we have? I mean, there's
Categories. There's more categories.
there's at least 50. So.
Well, right, and most of them are in the general fund.
Right.
Right, okay.
7th to 10th. Ideally. But the general premise though of a budget, especially when I'm working on one, is you're very conservative at revenue and you're very liberal with expenses. Because you want to come in under expense and you want to beat your revenue numbers. Yes. Okay. Okay.
That's how I always thought budgets were.
Yes.
Hey, you came in spending less, you're a hero, and producing more, you're a hero.
Hero,
So
yes.
let's set ourselves up to be heroes.
Right, yeah. So, but I understand, you know, those that are. You can have the garage, the diesel, everything kind of works different. Except for the air, what happened to Aaron's old office? What? Also, he's an air realize too, that the budget is organic. Put animals back in it, quantifiers, it's more than just it's like urine, it's all about it's more. You have a. I mean, it's yes. But because everybody in this town could go out here tomorrow and have no revenue. What are you gonna do about that? It could happen, is it gonna happen? No, but you could have some attrition that's going to just, you know. Everybody, you just gotta. You can, most of the budgets I work on is like, all right, so how much are you setting your goal to sell this year? And then I half that.
Not half that.
I half it, well, I half their increase.
Oh,
So
half
they're
their
gonna
increase.
say,
Okay, yeah.
We're gonna do 12%. I was like, okay, 6, here we go. And actually 5, I'll drop to 5, because that's some more manual numbers. But whether they hit it or not, if they knock it out of the park, great, it's all gravy. But I'm gonna base my budget almost for your. I still have to whole year and some. No. And then we are all of our expenses. Right next to the bathroom. So that way. So as soon as that works out.
Yeah.
And guess what? That, you know, that 7%, that's everybody is all from it. It's all started and paid out. Right? Okay. All right. As soon as I get it back, let's talk through some of this.
Do we have, I love that budget stuff.
Here, you can have mine. Well, or I mean, you can bring one too.
Yeah.
I'll.
Do you have an extra? I apologize, I let you say.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I hate killing trees, but.
They're dying. When it's that big of a document, looking at it on the computer and hurt your brain.
Especially on this little town computer with it.
That's why I brought mine. I can't do it.
I'm gonna start bringing mine.
Even the PDFs, because there's Adobe is not on that computer.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that and it's like the lines don't line up. All the fonts are
Okay,
different.
so it's not just me.
No,
Okay.
no, that's why I opened mine. I was like, read this thing.
I want to use this thing.
And toss it. Yeah. You want a paper copy? Yes, please.
No. Really, rain would make the smoke go away though.
I was worried because I have a chicken that's out and she's in a cracker. Because my other chickens, we were out trying to kill her. They wouldn't let her eat or drink. Yeah. She ran at me, even though the dog was there. She ran right at me like, yeah. So I picked her up and I was like, oh my God. And then I knew she was losing feathers. I knew they were beating up on her. I had to separate her, so she's up there. Oh, poor thing. Yeah. Oh, no. The dogs will definitely eat her. I have a doggy kennel, but we put her in the garage. Yeah. Yeah, if I have to.
It's supposed to get down below.
Tonight? About here. Right.
I live on this old road.
I feed them vegetable scratch, and stuff, like maybe scratch. For the most part, it's whatever I have left in my kitchen. Hey, brother. See the cheese. You don't have to.
Does the town have an Adobe account, like a business, like we have an Adobe business account, so I can throw it up.
So many users.
Yeah, we get like 5.
Adding us, all of us that we.
Well, that's true, yeah.
But no, there's another one.
Thank you so much, Ginger.
All right. Sectioning. Oh, wait.
What section did you say, Nikki? Sorry.
I'm trying to figure how we're sectioning it out. I am on the wrong page, I think. Do we have any changes in Public Works? Eric's out on vacation currently, but we kind of went through all of those, right?
I think
Everything in water, sewer, parks,
so. Streets, I think so.
part of buildings. Okay. So, and we're good with library. We have the resolution prepped for next week to adopt in the fashion that you chose. So that this one reflects the library.
The change in the library.
Yes, the budget she submitted with the method at which we chose to go. Okay? We're good there.
I think so.
Okay. So then we have to get through the rest of general fund. Administration. Sorry, I can't do this without a ruler. I promise I'll leave it back in the thing. But my handy dandy Cypress drug-free ruler is essential for my keeping my lines straight. Okay. Administration.
Question on that.
Okay.
Compensated absences, it says $9,000 in the current budget, but it has nothing for historical actuals going backwards. Why?
In
Page
410 to 10.
just this year? No,
No,
because
last
last
year
year's
we
budget had
added-
it in there as well.
yeah.
24, 25.
Was 9,183.
Okay,
Okay.
So this year it's gone down to 75.
yeah,
I know.
but we didn't keep track of that before last year?
No, because it was when I was on the commission when the auditors started telling you to put that in there. So
Yeah,
that
so-
was over 5 years ago. So there should be a column for each of those.
I'll take a look.
I have an overall general comment on the general fund before you get down to line by line. Currently, on this budget, there is $951,060 allocated for appropriated expenditures, and our estimated revenue is $777 or $777,000 or $197. So that's a rough difference of $177,000 in the whole. So I'm just curious.
And Lisa, if I may.
Yeah.
sorry,
At the last meeting, when you asked like cash reserves in
Yeah.
the general fund, I was totally off. Or coming into this year, ending cash
Uh-huh.
is $685,000.
497. So
497.
we can't be above half of our reserve cash.
Okay.
And we're coming in with
Okay, that makes a huge difference because
680.
it was like you had told me you had
It was 100.
163,000
Sorry,
versus.
and
So
I
we
was-
reran the report. If you want to see this report, we take out some of the restricted to take it down because we have restricted for our cash balance. So that's how we come up with that. So we have to keep it in that. We have to account for our 685 and keep it below 50%. So that's where we're.
By statute, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
that's how we're. to
Okay,
there where it's
okay. I thought we
not
were looking at
like a huge
a huge
$700,000.
deficit. So, okay, that changes quite a bit to, it was about $500,000 difference. Okay, thank you very much for the clarification.
So after long nights and lots of numbers, multiple reports. I don't know if there's a better way to do it. If you can we'll all pull up or do like a training with how to manage through Black Mountain first and then pull some of the reports. But anyway, that's where we were basing it off of, is that ending cash to make sure that we were meeting statute and not having over 50%. So that's where this is at. Okay. So you want to see if we can find a way for 130
Yes.
extra reports there. Okay.
So, did I miss something? Oh, extra, got it. I got that.
Okay. Anything else in 410, 210? We broke out the 390s, the other purchase services. We can take out American Legal. We still have it in there. But if you get through your stuff, then at least you can execute the first half of that contract. Yeah. And we've left all of the financial report and audit kind of based off of that ballpark of 30. I mean, if you get it for less, that's great. I've sent out a request for proposal to every auditor available in the state. Kurt saying I didn't do it. He needs clarification. That's the only response I've gotten. Yeah.
I think I saw it in the Madisonian that one of the towns was requesting bids on an audit service. Have you ever seen that?
And we sent our request for proposal to everybody on the state list. So you can put it in the paper, but I don't know that anybody in
The
Helena
paper's
and
much
Billings
like
is coming down to read our Madisonian. So that's why we just sent it to every auditor on the list. So that's where that's at, our ballpark, and went from there. Okay, prosecution. So I'm jumping into city court prosecutor. So I upped that because we were over. So I actually reduced the amount from Ed's and put it to Sam because we were over what we had budgeted.
Is that because we had the one jury trial this year that soaked up a bunch of time and money?
This was our first year with this process of attorneys, so it was a basic stab in the dark.
Sure.
And I aimed low because we only had one officer for part of it. And then I don't know how I still went to the over. And it wasn't just the Sam traveled frequently to come down, and that's very expensive at $250 an hour to have him in the room, and $250 to drive.
Yeah. And I guess he showed up for court after our police chief left, and so we paid him for that one too. That's a bummer.
Missed that one. Okay.
You'll see his bill for this month next week.
Yeah.
So anyway, I upped that. I don't know if that should lie where it lies. If the sheriff's riding into this court, I think you just leave it right where I left it. Upped it a little bit because Sam tends to travel in. Jordan and him seem to coalesce that way very well. She has a procedure for when you can be online. So that's in order in case there's safety issues for roads and travel. Okay. So are we good there? I took it from 24 to 30 because we were at 31,354. So hopefully without that jury trial thrown in there, we're there because we only have one of those a decade or better. Okay, city court. Susie is not attending training for court clerk. Jordan already did hers in June. She went to Missoula instead of going to the traditional. She had a chance at that, so that's already paid for. So we've reduced travel and training services because Jordan's already fulfilled hers for the year by doing the June conference and not the required judge one. It was the limited time offer to only so many judges. So she went and did that, and we've already paid our half in last year, so she doesn't need it till next fiscal year. So that's why those changed to zeros and travels are gone for some of it. Okay? Problems there? Anything? Jury services. My guess now is that we have enough for 4, now that I've seen what a jury is. And it's the travel reimbursement that saves us since our jury has to be within town. I guess I've always gone off of some of the county trials. So we could probably reduce that to 600 and have 2, but up to you. I mean, we historically, if we have 1, we have 1. So if you had 2, you'd be fine with.
I think we cut that to 600.
Okay.
Agreed? Nod your heads.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then I'm sure you'll want the breakdown part for 130. See if we can find the old in financial services.
Yeah, that's compensated absences missing in like every.
In every one of them.
Yeah.
I've got it noted to check
Okay.
and see what.
And we'll pull those
what's what.
reports and send them to you.
What's happening with telephone? Do we not have a telephone anymore?
No. We moved that over to ubiquitous. So we don't have our monthly. The only
So
thing
it's an IP.
Mm-hmm. And we still have it for Lagoon. Yes, Lagoon. Yes.
And no telegraph anymore. Just sure. It's on here. So
Talk to the state. They're the
Right.
ones that put those titles on there.
Okay. And then we did a lot for travel and training. Didn't I put training back in here? I don't know.
15.
For travel.
Not that, well, I'm looking under financial services. Is that where you are?
Yeah, that's where I am.
It would be the 335 mix, the membership and registration. So it would be like a registration for a conference or class.
Oh,
So there's 600 there.
but we had training over here, training services.
Some of it depends on department heads,
Okay,
on how
they classify.
We could break it in, but that's where we had it, was
The training is in the basic
membership and
memberships.
registration. So we took that up to 600 so that the conference can be attended by clerk. Okay. And are we good with everything else in financial services? You see Black Mountain and financial report, all that other stuff still in there. All right, payroll, same thing. We'll pull the 130 for you. Any other changes there? Nope. Nothing in elections, planning board.
planning and research is Great West on call.
Great West on call.
Yeah. And we had to approve that contract. I remember
Yeah,
approving that, I think.
the CIP.
We approved it, and then we approved the $10,000 amendment to get this CDBG.
Correct. All right, legal services is Ed. So that's where I came up with the money, the change for Sam, because we didn't spend as much with Ed, so I took the difference to put it into Sam's. So I actually took, because we only spent 10,000,
That's surprising.
That is.
and so
I think
that's where
22 is safe then.
20.
Doubled it. Almost
It's
doubled
double the amount that we spent, but less than 10,000 less than I put that towards Sam. Does that make sense?
it. That
Okay.
makes sense.
All right, facilities. Don't remember why I did that. Repairs and maintenance.
Okay. Here I'm a little concerned with some of the adjustments. So I understand you're going off the 24-25 actual.
Okay.
But we have to consider that the 24-25 actual was, in this department, was short 2 personnel for the majority of the year. So your actual is going to be low. But we have 3 positions in that department.
And Mitch,
So your compensated absence should not drop. It should at least remain the same.
compensated absences come right off of our Black Mountain report of June 30 of the end of the fiscal year.
Right.
So
That's what I'm saying. Your actual that comes out of Black Mountain is light because we had 1 person in the department versus 3 that we actually want to hire for that department.
I see where you're going with that.
So your current is for 1 person majority of the year. So your budget has to be for 3 though. So you can't really go off of actual. Because if we hire 2 other people in that department, your PTO is going to go up.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I can figure that out and make that adjustment.
Okay.
So, you know what I would do, Ginger? I would look at the year and do a percentage of the year where we only had 1 individual. And then whatever, or actually, no, figure out what percentage of the year we had 3 in there, if we even did. And this, we had at least 2 for part of the year.
For part of the year.
Yes.
So, but the one that's gone is paid out.
Right, but you got 2 more that supposedly are coming in.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I
I see
get a
what you're
figure on
saying.
it.
Yeah.
If you had to,
And we did the wage range. So they're compensated at, if
Yep.
if it's 14 hours in a year, then it's 14 times 25 or 22, whichever the one
Yep.
you're at. Yeah. Okay.
okay.
Your employer match is gonna go up as well. Same deal.
So then we need to look at that in the other sections, water and sewer.
Yes.
Okay. Ginger, compensated absence, we have to look at it in 411, 210, and then in water and sewer. And we have it broken in parks and streets too.
I'll just look at all of them.
Okay. And redo compensated. Okay, repair and maintenance, utilities, anything else in that section that you?
I think we're okay.
Yeah, we had repairs and maintenances.
BMS is Black Mountain, sorry.
Yeah. Broken in. IT. There's no huge equipment scheduled or anything like that. The only addition is our contract with Mr. Swanson. Okay.
So it's in this section, where does the updates for all the software come in? Renewals, any renewals in that? For our Gmail accounts, for website, does that fall under IT?
Yeah,
Yes.
email and workspace.
Yeah, 346. And like telephone, telegraph, that's our portion of ubiquitous and let's say our Starlink as well. Okay. Purchases, anything else?
As long as we don't have any major software contracts we have to enter into this year.
No, I think we're good.
Yep.
Okay, law enforcement. So what's here is what we had to pay for, and then we just add other purchase services. I guess that's where we add things. Or professional services is the 200,000.
Yeah, we should probably move all of this to contract services at this point.
Okay. Wait a minute. Some of the figures that you're seeing there, like the wages.
All of that's what we had from
That's
July
what,
till current.
what's already been paid out since July 1st.
So the only question is, do you want to add more than 200,000 for professional?
No.
So we're not paying for special events, or we're the 85?
How many special events do we have in the next 6 months? One?
This is for the fiscal years. Well, I guess so. Next 4th of July.
Is until we end it. Remember, we give them 60 days and it's over.
So the only parade we have is homecoming. Or
Oh, that's right.
They don't charge for that.
It's like for the concert that happened.
Yeah.
The Reckless Kelly concert.
Yeah, the one down at Lions Club
Those
Park,
should be-
they have never charged any, and this is directly from the sheriff, and I have that in writing, that we will never charge for any parades or anything like that. It's special
Like
events.
Hunter's Feed?
Hunter's Feed. I specifically asked him about 4th of July rodeo, and he says, no, it's for special things like when we had the big music festival.
Moods on the Madison. Moods on the Madison.
Yeah, and that concert we did on this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like when the movie people were here and they needed all sorts of roads blocked and stuff like that.
Oh, we just made them pay for that and have.
That's
That's how that went.
Permit process, yeah.
Part of this with revenue coming.
Yeah.
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 And we have that in special events where we said if it costs. So I guess we could always charge a kind of estimate whatever, if there would be additional in law enforcement, and then on the special event say, hey, sorry, you want to hold this, you have to help pitch in, pay for the sheriff.
Yep.
On this section, we're not budgeting for wages.
That's the other section. So this says that we're not planning on anything but this contract.
That's an assumption I don't agree with.
Okay.
I
What do you
think
want?
this contract is giving us time to find a police chief because we have not changed the town code. We haven't changed the town code. So we're obligated to find the police chief and deputies. And I looked at this contract, the current contract with the sheriff is it's a contract that we can cancel with 60 days notice because we have replaced our officers. So we need to budget to have officers. So are we thinking it's gonna take us 3 months? Is it gonna take us 6 months to find someone qualified? Is it gonna take us a year? If it's gonna take us a year, this is fine. But if it's gonna take us less than a year, we need to budget to pay those people.
It took us a year to find a second officer.
I know.
Not a
But
police
a police
chief.
chief, is that harder to find?
I think there's a long runway there personally, but
I mean, somebody from Bozeman's gotta be interested, no?
maybe.
I don't know. It costs as much to live here as it does there.
I know, right?
Yeah, and you don't pay as much.
Would you not just do a budget amendment at that point and just reserve
Yeah.
monies?
Or do 6 months of it.
Yeah,
I would do
totally
6
up
months.
to you guys. You tell me what you
No,
want.
I guess you're right, we leave it as it is, and then we amend the budget to move the money from his professional services to salaries once we have someone in place.
Exactly.
Because it's too much of a question mark, we don't know how long it's gonna take to find somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, we can't budget both.
We had 685,497 in cash reserve. So even if that's after last year. So we clearly could have had the full PD budget and 200,000.
And
Yeah. That's messy though.
it is, especially if we don't use it.
Yeah. We can always do a budget amendment. I think, we know there's a $200,000 bill coming due. We
That's
move that
covered.
money and then if we find a police chief and a deputy or not an officer, then we do a
Can
budget
you-
amendment.
Can you
Take
at least
care.
put something in police department hiring then, so that there's that option
Absolutely.
to spend
For recruitment,
because in the initial
It-
hiring, for the background check, the
Yeah,
physical, the
absolutely.
everything
oh,
else,
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
that at least allows for that first part of the process.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
So how much do you want in there?
Well,
5,000,
Put the 5,000?
there's 5,000 in there right now.
yes.
Well,
Well, there's 0 in there right
There's
now.
Oh, is there?
right
Oh,
now.
I'm looking at the wrong line,
Yeah, this
sorry.
was 0.
And it took,
That was the current budget.
Yeah.
okay, so put that back in,
Put the
Yes.
5,000 back in.
okay?
so that at least gets,
So on this contract, is it 200 or nothing?
Or like a monthly payment or?
Yeah,
Paying the 200 and are we paying the 200 and if we cut it short, they refund us? How's that gonna work?
Maybe. I don't think we'll cut it short though.
About the parties in writing. So that's to be determined. We can set up probably some kind of payment schedule, whether it be monthly, quarterly.
That's what I read too, it was agreed upon payment schedule. But it doesn't say in there that if the contract is canceled, that the fees would be prorated.
so I would do quarterly, because you probably know. Ask that. I can talk to Ed and say quarterly is kind of, see if the county's good with quarterly, and then you know.
Yeah, I think that's safe, because even if you find somebody who's qualified, it's gonna take at least that long to get them started.
It took the better part of 6 weeks to get just through. I mean, and Phil, we knew how it was gonna go, but still to get everybody in line to do all the requirements. And then we have to make sure, depending on the person in the situation, like we might have to go back to DUI, there's several things, so it's not a complete gap fill.
90 days.
Yeah. All right. And well, I guess you'll adjust as you need to adjust there. Okay. Okay. Where, what page am I on now? 3, 4, 5. Okay, are we good to there? Salaries and wages, land inspection, sorry.
So
Zoning.
liability and property insurance for police.
That liability is paid off of last year's wages.
Yeah, so
And-
if we don't have any wages, we don't pay any.
Last
correct?
year's wages.
It was last year's wages.
Uh-huh.
The liability and property insurance have already been paid.
Okay,
Yeah. So those were the amounts for those.
Oh, you're thinking workers' comp.
yeah,
Yeah, that's not listed here.
Yeah.
But yes, it would drop because it's based on the salary versus the wages paid.
Okay. Zoning, land use and inspection. We can pull 130 on that as well, since it's missing there. We do have. Where is it? Where's the training?
Training 380, currently budgeted 0.
Membership services.
Is it in membership
Registration.
services here too?
Yes, there it is. That's up.
So training isn't there.
Want to tell her? I hope I'm okay there. Floodplain kind of comes out of nowhere for me. It's very inconsistent.
$3,000. You think that's a good number?
We spent more than
Because
that
we
last.
spent 4,000 last year.
But then the year before that, we spent 858.
Right. Yeah, it's
It's
all
so
over the
well,
board.
and last year we spent 4,000, and part of that
Looks
was
like
Was-
because of the
every
county's
other year.
floodplain plan.
When we had to adopt all the floodplains, so that's why that was higher.
that's right.
We went through
So that's why
That.
it was increased.
That
last year
document.
Specifically for that.
But we've been starting to get certain bills for floodplain stuff.
Well,
Now
it
that
looks
we
like
have
every
new
other
code,
year
and
is
and
low.
Kevin's our floodplain administrator. If we have violations of the floodplain, it has to go to Kevin. He's the one that.
But we can always bill that too, so, I don't think that's on the expenditure side, but it is perfectly.
For code enforcement, we build back. For code enforcement, you don't build back. If somebody asks a question about it, but if they're floodplain administration for and code enforcement, then you can't bill that back. And we're starting to see some floodplain violations. So that's why I would leave it where it's at. Because no, that you would bill. If they're asking for a determination, you bill. But if it's ordinance violation, then you're not going to bill that, but you need your floodplain administrator to help work through that. I don't think anybody at the sheriff's office wants to become a floodplain genius for enforcement. We'll leave that with Kevin. All right.
Road and street you went through with Eric.
Yep, we went through that with Eric.
Sidewalks.
We went through weed control, animal control. You leave.
Through parks with him.
Rest area, we went through our contract, we did that, we're good. Operating transfers out. Transfers to other funds, basically, where we take from general fund to the other specific funds. So we have 5,000 coming out for tree board and economic development. Your resort tax is 2,500.
Corey, you're still good with those numbers? That's what you gave me.
Yes, I don't know. I wrote out there that we didn't spend any of it last year. This upcoming year, I think doing an educational push on it would be a good idea. $2,500 just covers some brochures.
So what you're saying is you could use some more to do a legitimate effort.
Yeah.
How much more?
I'd say at least 5,000 probably.
I would wait until you see what we know what our determination is going to be, but we've been waiting 3 months for Department of Commerce too. I don't know how much longer we're waiting.
Yeah.
And then you have
budget amendment as well.
Do you want to double the tree fund from 5 to 10?
No.
He was talking the other one.
Oh, the other
the resort tax.
So
resort.
why don't you start off with just doubling the resort tax to 5,000 instead of 2,500?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
That's good.
Is that,
Okay.
does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then transfer to capital improvement for ADA compliance on this building. It's ADA compliance on this building. It was in the original capital improvement plans that we went through.
Front entrance.
The front entrance. And it's just the start of putting aside money for the fixes that needs. You may need to reevaluate even the safety of the front. I
So
know.
where did we spend the 5,000 on?
What?
It's 24, 25 actuals. Am I reading the wrong line here? $5,000.
So that was when you were putting money, there was money going out of general for PD car replacement, and I took that out.
For
That's what the police department car replacement to the CIP fund.
Uh-huh.
That's what that 5,000 was. So it's not in there this year. That 5,000 went away, and
But
it's,
that's what that shows.
Yeah.
Was that
The
and
current budget for
Yeah.
25,000 is for
Okay.
the 5,000.
we had for PD, and then we had 5,000 split for snowplow portion, general fund to pay for towards the big red. And then we ended up using it for big red. Okay. So if at the end we have to adjust that, we can adjust that down for the rest of the numbers, but that's where it's just capital improvement towards that project. And again, I think you probably need to evaluate the safety of the front office. Well, it was just one of the discussions when Commissioner Todd was walking through the court over there and everything else, that it was just built in a day where we didn't have to worry about safety of our staff in that way. So there may need to be redesigned. Yep. Yeah. So they've changed, and it may need an evaluation there.
No, that's personal safety.
Yeah.
Building and working is restricted access. You have to have a code. Right? Everybody get out.
All right. So we good there for those? Start putting money towards this building. We went through library facilities and their CIPs on here as well. Computers, flooring, roof, meeting room. All that's good. Okay. Planning board. We're kind of at the end of growth policy for that. We've left consultants services.
So that, all of that 36,000 will be going out.
Yeah.
But then it's grant money.
That's coming in.
Around and come back.
Yeah.
And what's the professional services for?
Growth policy?
To Great West.
Great West.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
All right. Good. Okay. There's Corey's economic.
That will go to 5.
Yeah. LGR, there's no change there. PERS. Our contributions into that.
I will be sure and double check all these figures after
Yeah, we might have to read.
I
Just
I
estimate.
always rerun
What
on
is the
wages and.
what is the wait period to get into the retirement account? Or is there?
No, there is not.
No,
No.
on our STIP. No.
I start
Oh.
paying from day 1.
Pension.
So you accrue from day one, or they qualify.
Yep.
To participate on day one.
Yes.
Another 50 years and all he said.
You should see my fire department one. It's like $3 a year. It's pretty awesome. I'm getting there too. All right, health insurance. We'll double check those. We're good. Here's our permissive mills. Those are the ones allowed without taking it to the vote that we're expending.
What page are you on again?
What?
What page?
I am on 13.
Okay,
I'm smoking through it.
that's why it wasn't making sense.
Holler at me. I think that's fairly right where it needs to be. Street maintenance assessment, we went through that with Eric. I think that what needs to happen, and it's not Eric's plan, is that capital improvement really needs to be re-gone through because it had your streets and your projects and your costs and everything else. That document is sadly out of date and desperately needs addressed.
Well, not just the capital, there was that special road and street maintenance tax that we pay $75 per lot, and when that was first instituted, there was a 5-year plan, and then it sunsetted, and then it got re-upped, and there was a plan. I was curious if that has been updated.
No, it hasn't.
We might for strategic planning for each department.
Are you on 15 now?
Yes.
That one is what it is.
Yep, library out.
So that's it. You just said page 15, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's the library trust fund. It's just a savings that the library has for future.
So is that's the trust fund, not
It
the ending
used to
cash?
be a CD, but
Okay.
we changed it
No
over to
expense
get the higher interest rate.
related.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the CD, they were only getting $30-40 a year, so now they're getting 100 and some a month.
Yep.
At least.
Yep.
Is that 13.4
enough
for 3 officers?
Mm-mm.
It is?
Well, that's all you get.
That's
This
all.
is money that comes from the state.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
So you get so much each year to use just for training purposes.
So that's where we
And-
always pulled out of our ammo and everything came out of this fund, any of our specific trainings, training materials, all of that.
That amount is all you have.
Right.
that's max.
And that's preset
That's
by
max.
the state,
Yes.
whatever formula they.
So, and that's what the other towns used to do in the interim after the 17 was it was kind of agreed that the state gives each town an amount that they
But
should
only
probably,
if you have a department.
but only if you give a department, but there was a base amount and they should give it to the sheriff's office.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Gas tax was Eric,
Yep. We went through that.
and so's the next one.
Yep. MSEP, that's our water. Go ahead. Tree fund. Are we good? We kind of went through it with the other. ARPA's,
Is what it is.
yep.
That's what we have left.
That's what we have left. I'm going to ask for an extension. Craig Erickson and I are actually working on that right now because this money was supposed to be spent by December of this year. And so they're being amazing about it because we were just going to finish up the well with this, but then the Department of Commerce is like, no, your grant is for the well and the storage tanks. So we're not comfortable allowing you to continue with that grant if we're not paying for part of the well. So we're like, oh, great. So now Craig Erickson's working with me for our ARPA administrator to extend it, ARPA funds past December into the well project as well so that we can still keep it split so that the Department of Commerce is happy with their portion of the contract, leaving, yes, you are paying for both well and storage. Okay, please don't take our money away. We're trying. It's just time frames. So there's another letter for DEQ on some changes that go out, and then Craig and I are focusing on this extension with ARPA to get a 6-month extension into next year when the next project portions should be starting. That's all done. CARES and COVID on 22. Transfers out, SID.
page are you on?
I'm on 23.
On page what?
23.
Okay.
And that's bonds that are paid, that we have paid our portion.
Yeah,
So I just transfer it back into general fund.
okay.
And the same with the next one.
Special assessment debt.
Yep, it was another form of the bonds.
So so we have a fund just set up for transferring, tracking transfers.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we're done with those, but that's where the money,
Is sitting.
yeah.
Gotcha.
You didn't slate to spend anything in CIP this year.
No.
You're into water sewer.
So that's a wrap. And I don't think the changes that we talked about are going to drastically influence our balance. Because we basically added 5,000 here and took down jury, added to hiring. Those were the major changes. So our net difference is 4,200 more in expenditures. Oh, wait. That's not true. Because of the resort tax portion. I forgot the resort tax portion, so that increases that from 42 to what?
2,500.
Yeah. So are we okay with that in expenditures, extra expenditures?
I think so.
Okay, we'll put those in.
I will get these changes made, shoot this stuff back out to you guys again. Are you pretty comfortable with what you've got? Because I'd like to bust out the state pages.
But we don't like to do those until the majority of these have
I
gone through.
think so, as long as these changes, I mean, I want to see like those compensated absences going backward, you know, and see where that's trending. all that.
And then change the ones for the facilities to reflect 3.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
budget to have all 3 employees.
I think we're 80% or better,
Yeah.
maybe more.
It's better.
Okay. When you get into the state forms, it is not just changing one thing. When something changes, there's a lot of changes that you go in and make. But I want you guys to see those.
Those are important.
But yeah, so that
it gives you a
know
really
where
good
we're sitting.
overview picture.
So I'm going to go get this done, and then we'll get those out as well.
All right. So we'll probably do Thursday. Well, do Thursday, do I schedule budget work session afterwards?
As
So
long as
for
it's not on a
any,
Thursday.
what?
As long as it's not on a Thursday going forward.
What?
Because I train for something. Happens on Thursday and Friday, so.
Our regular meeting is next Thursday.
I know, after that, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Not a budget session. If we could do it on a Wednesday, that would
No.
No.
be, no,
Apparently whatever they have going.
yeah.
Yoga.
Tuesday?
I'm training for the national here.
I have softball.
Tuesday?
Tuesday works.
Tuesdays?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesdays.
Oh, yeah, but
What?
nothing.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
But if we work session after next meeting to finalize the budget,
I think we should.
and then
yes.
we can hold our hearings.
I think we should.
Okay.
So it's not on a Thursday.
Okay.
No. It has
Or a
to be.
Wednesday.
Or any other day that the day. All right. Good evening. That's a wrap. That's all, folks.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Start having coffee at these things.
Yeah, right.
Yes, she did. Coffee.
Wouldn't be able to sleep till 1 at least.
That would be good. I work better with a coffee cup in my hand. I guess. They're shot. Oh, yeah.
And they should do it with our numbers. What they build you. Send you the
Mary, put the marker. No. We can leave it because there's no court Monday.
Okay.
No court Monday, then it's for.
All right.
Another time.
Which maybe, are you gonna be available Tuesday? Maybe we could ask Brenna.
They're to their regular meeting and the final correction of the drug policy. Because I think they're ready to present it to.
Brenna, you can leave it out. We don't have anything.
Sure.
Maybe it's always our chance. It's always our chance to take it. But it's okay.
Worst case, yeah. I'm totally good
Well,
with
you
it.
let me know, right? And we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right.
Vicky, do you have anything in the office?
Do I have my phone? No, I do not. Oh. Bitch, I'm right.
Well, I can do that too.
I will do my best to remember. I do too. Right up until the time I go to bed.
I know. All right, you guys have a great night.
I'm gonna knock on wood. It hasn't bothered me yet.
Yeah.
I go to bed and it's like, I'm out.